All right, let's talk about social media. If you feel like you're just throwing content out there and hoping something, anything sticks, you are definitely not alone. But today, we're leaving that chaos behind. We're going to build something solid, something with a real structure, your social media blueprint.
So, does this look familiar? You post something, you cross your fingers, and then crickets. You're left wondering why it didn't work. You know, this whole post and pray strategy, it's exhausting, and honestly, it's just not effective. But the good news is we're about to replace all that frustration with a clear, actionable plan.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start with the absolute foundation, your content and your targeting. Then we'll build up the strategic pillars, the why behind what you're doing and the who you're talking to. After that, we get tactical with the what, where, and when of it all. And finally, we'll make sure this whole thing actually works by learning how to optimize and improve. Let's get building.
You know, every great building needs a rock-solid foundation. And in the world of social media, that foundation has two parts you just can't skip: the actual content you make and the people you show it to. Before we build anything else, we have to get these two things right.
So, what does good content really do? I mean, it's so much more than just pretty pictures, right? It creates actual engagement. It pulls people in. It builds trust, making your brand feel human. It drives conversions by getting people to take action. It can even, if you're lucky, fuel virality. But honestly, the most important job it has is this. It literally feeds the algorithm. It tells platforms like TikTok and Instagram, hey, this stuff is valuable, show it to more people.
Need some proof? Just look at Nike's You Can't Stop Us campaign. 58 million views in less than a week. So why did it blow up? Because it wasn't just another shoe ad. It tapped into a feeling, a global sense of resilience. And that split screen editing? Just brilliant. That right there is the power of content that truly connects.
And this quote just nails it. Your content is your proof. You can say all day long that your brand is inspiring or trustworthy, but it's the stuff you share day in and day out that actually proves it to your audience.
Okay, on to the second part of our foundation, targeting. Because look, you could have the most incredible content in the universe, but if the wrong people see it, it just doesn't matter. Targeting is all about precision. It's the art of speaking directly to the people who are actually going to care about what you have to say. And today, we basically have targeting superpowers. Let's break down two of the best. With custom audiences, you use your own data, like an email list, to find those exact people online. It's amazing. But then there's lookalike audiences. This is where the algorithm works its magic. You give it your custom audience, and it goes out and finds millions of new people who act and think just like your best customers. It's a total game changer for growth.
Okay, our foundation is set. It's solid. Now it's time to start building the main structure on top of it. We're starting with your why, your objectives, and your who, your audience.
Your why needs to be super clear. So instead of a vague goal like, I want more followers, let's tie it to the marketing funnel. Are you at the top, just trying to get noticed? Well, that's an awareness goal, so you'd measure something like reach. Are you somewhere in the middle, trying to build trust? That's consideration, where you track clicks. Or are you at the bottom, trying to drive sales? That's a conversion goal, where you're looking at things like downloads or actual purchases.
So once you know your why, you have got to understand your who. And the best way to do that is by creating what's called a buyer persona. Honestly, think of it like a character profile for a movie. It's this detailed, semi-fictional deep dive into your ideal customer. It turns this vague idea of an audience into a real person you can actually talk to.
So how do you actually build one? It's really just 3 steps. First, you gather real data. Dig into your analytics, send out surveys, talk to your customers. Second, you start looking for patterns. What are their key traits? And more importantly, what are their pain points? What problems are they trying to solve? And finally, you bring that person to life. Give them a name, a face, a little backstory. Suddenly, you're not marketing to millennials, you're talking to marketing manager Maria. See the difference?
All right, strategy is in place. Now we're moving on to the tactical pillars of execution. This is where the blueprint starts to get really practical, right? We're going to cover what you should post, where you should post it, and when you should post it.
First up, the what. And that starts with your brand voice. How do you sound? Just look at these 2 examples for a fitness brand. One is bold, empowering. You didn't come this far to skip leg day. The other is playful and witty. We have abs. Under here somewhere. Both totally work, but they create completely different feelings, different connections. Being consistent with your voice is absolutely key.
The other half of the what is your content pillars.
Think of these as the 3 to 5 main topics you're always going to talk about. For our fitness brand, that might be educational posts, inspirational transformations, funny gym memes, product promos, and community shoutouts. This structure keeps your feed focused, it keeps it balanced, and it completely solves that, what do I post today problem.
Next is the where. And the golden rule here is so simple. Post natively. You do not need to be everywhere. Just be aware your audience is. But, and this is a big but, you have to adapt your content to fit the culture of each platform. What works as a LinkedIn article is not going to work as an Instagram reel. Don't just copy and paste. And finally, we have the win. This is all managed with a content calendar, which is your best friend for staying consistent. This table gives you some really good starting points. You can see how hungry a platform like TikTok is for fresh content, while LinkedIn is a little more chill. Use these as a guide, but remember, the most important thing is to find a rhythm that you can actually stick with.
So, we've built the whole blueprint, the structure is up, but our job is not done. This last part, optimization, might just be the most important. A strategy is pretty useless if you don't measure it and adapt it. This is all about how you get better over time.
If you want to improve, you have to track the metrics that actually matter for your goals. Remember those objectives we set? If your goal is awareness, you need to be watching your reach and impressions. If you're trying to boost engagement, then you're looking at likes, comments, and shares. And if it's all about conversion, you have to be tracking click-through rates and sales. Always, always match the metric to the goal.
But how do you know what to change to make things better? Well, you stop guessing and you start testing. And that's exactly what A/B testing is. It's a super simple, scientific way to run two slightly different versions of something, an ad, a post, whatever, to see which one performs better. It gives you real data to make your creative decisions. And here is a perfect example of why this is so critical. We've got two ads. One offers 20% off, the other offers free shipping. By running them at the same time, we find out that free shipping almost doubled the click-through rate. That's a massive insight that you would have completely missed if you were just guessing.
And really, this is the final lesson. Your social media blueprint, it's not something you make once and then hang on the wall. It's a living, breathing document. You have to constantly be looking at your results, listening to what the data tells you, and being ready to change things up.
So there you have it, the complete blueprint for a social media strategy that actually works. The plans are all drawn up. Now the only question left is, what's the very first brick that you're going to lay? Thanks for joining me.